All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back, you guys. So we are going to have one of those videos where everybody gets what they want, right? You guys all know that you want me to talk about people in Hollywood worshiping the guy down there or the deity down there, whatever. You know what I mean? But Candace put this up a couple days ago, and we did a video about where we talked about it on Play With Matches on my other channel that I do with Gabrielle, my wife. Link is in the description. And we're going to talk more about it now, though, because it is just so direct and overt what she's saying about, what they worship in Hollywood. And then I'm going to show you a shocking piece of another Dauntless Dialogue documentary that I am sure, even if you went and subscribed to their whole platform, you won't have found this yet. But I'm going to show it to you now. And it's a bunch of stuff. It's just like, this is just what it is, man. This is just what it is. Okay? There's no like, oh my gosh, are we reaching for the stars and, we're coming up blank on evidence that the claims we're making are real. It's like, nope, this is just what it is, man. Okay? There is a reason that they are attacking this particular way of life all the time. You know what I mean? And so we're going to go after that again. And then I also, before we even look at that, we're going to be looking at a little bit of some Andrew Tate, who is talking about a very famous YouTuber. And something that when he pointed it out, I was like, that's weird. That is weird. He's talking about MrBeast. Anyway, so let's jump right into it. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I appreciate you guys doing that, and like this video. All right, I called an audible. I'm going to do the Dauntless Dialogue documentary that we're going to be reacting to first because I actually recorded it at the end, but I'm going to put it up here because you guys need to see this stuff as context for the rest of what we're going to talk about. Jesse, what are you doing down in the corner? Well, I have decided that I am going to make myself a little bit smaller so you can see more of the screen as we go through this section of the Dauntless Dialogue documentary, The Devil's Playground. Now, I've been talking to Adam, who runs Dauntless Dialogue. I'm going to do a live stream with them coming up here. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. It'll probably be the week after I get back from Cabo. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm going to be in Mexico from Saturday to Saturday. So next week, uploads will be a little bit less frequent. There's no way I'm going to be able to do 2 videos a day. I will try my best to do at least 1 per day. If I miss a day, whatever. Like, I'm literally on vacation, but I can't. Like, I actually can't just not upload it. It makes me so crazy. And also, when I get back, I always have to build my channel back up. It's really difficult. But one thing I will tell you is if you see me go live next week, so starting Saturday, this coming Saturday through the following Saturday, if you see that I am live streaming, you're probably going to want to tune in because that probably means that I am in a ridiculously fun mood, like where I was, down at the pool. Who knows? Maybe I'll have my friends up there. We'll be streaming with us from our suite, and they'll be rock solid, even though they're not in my studio. So, try to look out for that. Now, let's get into this. Let's get into this and learn a little bit about these Hollywood Luciferians and Dauntless Dialogue. Again, it's a website, dauntlessdialogue.com. I cannot stress enough, if you join, I would just pay for the year up front because there's no way that you are going to be unhappy with it.
Crowley's shadow over Tinseltown.
Aleister Crowley, by the way, is the godfather of real Luciferian doctrine, okay? They have that's who he's going to be referencing. I just want to make sure that's clear up front because you have the guy who was the head of Church of Satan. That's I can't remember that guy's name right off the top of it, but Aleister Crowley, that's the real guy. And we'll do a whole episode on him actually, but just so you know.
Continues to loom large, even to this day. OTO, the secret society that Crowley once led, has seemingly reemerged as an influential body in Hollywood.
There you go. That's what I was talking about. Well, actually, there's probably going to be the MrBeast part later in the video. I think I'm going to put this before it, but I already recorded it and I referenced in there that when we're talking about MrBeast, that Aleister Crowley's nickname that he gave himself was the Great Beast 666. So think about that when you see that later.
But of all the famous stars who might immerse themselves with Crowley, there is one who stands out as the true modern embodiment of the great beast. In the world of art, no name stirs more controversy than Marina Abramovic. Her body of work is a disturbing amalgam of violence, mutilation, sex, and the occult, not unlike the works of Aleister Crowley.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm going to have to edit all of this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, let me tell you guys something. This is 100% true. When I watch Dauntless Dialogue 9 out of 10 times, I'm actually watching it in bed as I go to sleep. And so a lot of times I'm not actually looking at the screen. That is way crazy. It's unfortunate because you guys are not going to, I have to put it in members only. That for 100% sure will get my video 18 plus if I leave that image up there. And it's important that I share this. So anyway, that's going to have to be behind a censored, and then I'll do a members only version. Okay. I literally just had to fast forward through 6 minutes because there was not 1 second that I could have shown. But again, just consider this a preview of what you will get. I mean, there's like 100 of these on Dauntless Dialogue, but watch this, and then we're going to get to the Candace story also, and then the MrBeast.
Satanic symbols and occult themes are a regular motif in pop culture, especially now more than ever, and while plenty of people have started to note it.
But like, why do you think? You know what I mean? Everybody just assumes that it's like, oh, they're just being edgy, man. They're just being edgy. Did they say that? Did they say that? Because in part of the video that I had to skip over, Marina Abramovic, okay, who is like, could not possibly do more to tell you exactly who she is in this whole thing. And she literally said, if the ceremony, or I'm sorry, the ritual is art, then it's art. If it's done somewhere else, then it's not art. I fast forwarded through a section where she had a party at her she put on this party, and there was like every A-list celebrity. Wow. an enormous number of A-list celebrities that you've heard of. And they have a cake in the middle of the room. And, they can make cakes look like anything, like perfect. You guys seen, like, is it cake or is it real? Well, she had them make a cake of a naked female human. Okay. And then everybody's cutting it up and just devouring it. On the inside of it's like a red velvet cake. It's like, it looks so real, and everybody's just chopping into it and eating it. They're all, oh yeah. And you're all, oh my, it's that thing is so demented. Like there's no, I'm not touching that cake. If I'm not, I would never be there, but, yeah, for the uninitiated, that's a tell. That's like I'm sure that there are artists that are like photographers that are just cover your eye or whatever. But like what it actually means, according to the experts, is that's a shout out that like, hey, I'm on this team, the all-seeing eye. Just like it would be if you tattooed pizza on the inside of your lip and then showed the world. There it is, dude. The all-seeing eye. Now, let's get into today's story, though, about Candace and her take on this. All right. Now, let's get into it right now. I'm going to stop talking about what I was talking about because I was like, I should probably reshoot that. Now, after trying 3 times, I am just going to forget about the whole thing. And maybe during a live stream, I will tell you guys what I was saying because, I don't know. Seems a little bit too early in the video to talk about a thing like that. Maybe I'll say it later in the video because by then, it will all be my, my regulars where I can just be totally honest about things and I don't have to worry about new people to my channel. I don't know, spazzing out. Anyway, all right, so let's start here. So Candace says, I'm opening up about a personal struggle that I've been going through. Last year, I called Ye and asked him to please re-record all of his masters because I wanted to sample one of his songs for my new podcast intro, but I really don't want to pay to license the music he created from the same satanic all throughout the industry who tried to destroy his life. That seems reasonable, Like, if he's a personal friend of mine, I would be like, wait, you want me to license his, how much do you want me to pay? Is it over 50 cents? Because I don't really feel super comfortable with, lining your pockets so that I can use my own friend's music when you debanked him and destroyed his $1 billion Adidas deal. I mean, you know what I mean? Now, again, we will talk. I mean, listen, to be clear, I am not like a staunch Kanye defender of all things Kanye. He brought some of this on himself, but her logic is completely sound. Well, he didn't bring on getting debanked on himself. He certainly didn't bring on that kind of stuff. But I just mean he could have handled his press tour better is what I mean. Anyway, so she says, the problem is that all of Ye's old music is owned by masters. He and I discussed how genius it was that Taylor Swift re-recorded hers and how he has been wanting to do the same, but he hasn't done it yet. And I have this really amazing new intro that I want to premiere, but I'd have to pay Universal $40,000 to sample just 7 seconds of Kanye's voice. That is insane. Why? Okay, hey, I have an idea. I have a solution to this, Candace. Although this will, delete this whole premise that you need to pay whatever. And I don't know. I think you're making an important point here. Is what my point is that you're making an important point. This is complete and total bullshit that this is the way that this works. But what I would suggest is you just have Kanye record you a 7-second voice clip and make it exactly what you want. I'm sure he'll do it, rather than re-record all of his songs. I mean, that's kind of like for him, right? It's like, if he's going to do that, I'm not saying he shouldn't do it. I don't know what his money situation is. I don't know what his time situation is. I don't know how motivated he is to do new music when he spends so much time, collecting girls that look like Kim Kardashian and then constantly just dicking them down. It's like, there's only so many hours in the day, right? If he sleeps for 3 hours a night and he does that for, I don't know, let's say 13 hours a day, there's some time left, but not a whole lot for music when you factor in eating, going to the mall, buying things, etc. So I think a better use of his time would just be to give Candace exactly what she wants, and she can request that from him. It just seems like a common sense solution. She said, I honestly, God, just don't understand how it's even legal for a group of people to be like, this person cannot participate in society and we want this person destroyed and to lose everything and to be banned from entire countries. But also, we'll continue to make money off his or her voice. I totally agree with that. I mean, well, I agree with it in concept, right? Like in concept, totally. You're like, are you serious? You literally just go destroy this person's life and then simultaneously you just get to make money off of things that they've created. Like if we lived in a world that made sense, then yes, of course. But we don't. And he signed a contract and they own his music, which I don't even understand how. It's so bizarre that anyone could own a person's music that they created. But those are the laws that we set up in this country. And if that doesn't tell you how legislation actually works when you get down to the core of it. I mean, sure, there's like regular laws that are just there for everybody, but the fact that this kind of like legal guideline exists, like, yeah, you just sign this contract, and then if you create music, we just take everything from it. You're all, just take everything from it, huh? It's like, yeah, we own it. It's like, I mean, he made the music, but we provided the studio time. Oh, right, but this is like a creative process. Like, there's lots of people who could provide a studio. This is like magic that came out of a creative person. I know, but he chose to use our studio time. And back when you needed a record company to distribute your music, this is kind of how we did it. And that's why we are all so rich that you can't even wrap your brain around it. And in order for them to make money, they need to go on tour and fill up stadiums. And then, we'll subtract all of our costs. And basically, there's no way for us to lose money. I mean, there are. But so she said, she says, I feel like in the future, there needs to be a law that after the industry moves to conduct, in effect, a public slave hanging, like Daily Wire did me, they should be required to release the person's likeness, social channels, voice, and whatever else they may have once owned. Again, in a logical world, that would make sense, but I think that if I were an attorney for the other side of it, I would just be like, well, how are you going to determine when someone does a public slave hanging versus just holding people accountable for the things that they said? Do you hear how leftist that sounds? Pretty gross, pretty gross. Now, that said, when Kanye went on tour and was like, it's the Jews, man. Listen, it's the Jews. And my favorite one of those was when he was on what's his name? Oh my God. Oh my gosh. My brain, dude. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with the little Russian podcaster that Joe Rogan gave an Omega moon phase to? His moon phase watch, gave it to him. Lex Friedman. God, that is crazy. That is crazy that I forget people's names. Like, that should be top of mind. Bizarre. Anyway, when Lex Friedman was asking him, he's also a black belt in jiu-jitsu. How on earth could I have possibly forgotten that? Anyway, when he was on Lex's show, and Lex is all, but you don't mean like the Jews. You just mean like these specific people who may be in like leadership positions in these different interviews. He's all, no, man. No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean at all. I said what I mean. He's all, but you don't mean like everyone who is a member of that religion. He's all, I said what I said. I said what I said. Listen, dude, I mean, people can run their life however they want. You know what I mean? I am not in charge. I just personally prioritize, kind of smooth sailing in my life. Generally, like obviously I will talk about, satanic cabals in Hollywood, right? They scare me, terrified. But I don't feel like I was put on earth to like shine a light into the darkest places of the earth. I talk about things people already know, and then I make that funny and interesting for people because that's my gift, is the ability to communicate in a way that holds people's attention. So if I have deemed something interesting enough, I can kind of gauge, like, I think people will think this is interesting, and then I share it with people. But where I get that information from is stuff that's already out there. I'm not trying to dig in and then go, hey, what's going on in there, most powerful people in the world? Look at me. It's me with the flashlight shining a light on you. Okay? I'm too scared of them for that. And also, it's just not really what I do. But Kanye apparently did not have that fear, and one of the reasons I would never do that is because I know exactly what I would do if I was them. That's basically how I make decisions about everything, That is literally how I make decisions about everything. What would you do if you were doing what they're doing, and then this person did that? Now, in fairness, in all of these examples, I would never be doing what they're doing if we're talking about like really nefarious stuff. But hypothetically, if I was let's say in the executive suite at a political action committee. What? Committee, at a super PAC. Or, I don't even know what you call TPUSA technically. Like a nonprofit that is pulling in lots and lots and lots and lots of money. If I was in that suite and people started talking about, my organization, I'd be like, I don't like them. But if someone started, like really digging under the hood and going after my money, then I might be liable to make a phone call on somebody and be like, yeah, I think we should make this person's life real hard. I'm not 100% sure that I would do that. I mean, yes, I am actually. I definitely am. Well, I don't know, dude. I've become less that way as I've grown. I have daughters now. They've softened me up a little bit, I mean, not when it comes to protecting them, but there is a version of me. Listen, I'm telling you guys, when I was running when I was building my company, which ended up bankrupting me, almost 10 years ago now. But like when I was running that company, and I really believed, I mean, every single bit of faith I had was that was going to work. And it was going to be a level of wealth and power that is hard. I mean, I was going to be basically like a tech billionaire, from at least, in my mind, like this is where I'm going. There is no question. I have a TV show. This is what's going to happen. And so as that was like unfolding, and I really believed that was where I was headed, I thought about how I was going to handle things, and I was a very different person then, like a very, very different person. I was very, like talking to me, you would have thought I was the same, but I wasn't, not up here. And I had plans, man, like I had plans, and many of my plans have been validated as strategies that people use all the time since I became a little bit more knowledgeable about what people do. Now, at the time, that was like 12 years ago or something. I was, I knew some things. I didn't know what I know now. And one of the things was I was going to blackmail everyone. Not blackmail everyone, but I was going to put, well, yeah, actually, I was not blackmail for money, but I was going to control people by putting private investigators on people all the time. Anybody that I deemed as a potential threat, anybody who I deemed as like, an enemy, I was just going to stick private investigators on all of them, and I would just have dossiers on everyone. If someone's clean, they're clean. But if they're not, I'd get them. And then it would just be like, well, I've got that guy by the balls. You know what I mean? So my nature is that of a person who would do. How did we get on this topic? How the fuck do we get on this topic? I don't even know. Okay. Probably put that in members only. I feel like new people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? What's Major League Fantasy? It's like, what? It's not a porn site, I'll tell you that. But nonetheless, let's continue. So I feel like the future needs to be the law. Oh, yeah, we already did that. Like you cannot attempt to kill a slave and then force them to still work for you because of lingering contracts. Maybe we need an addendum to the 13th Amendment, ? I do very much enjoy how Candace will use every available weapon at her disposal. Example A, she's black, Kanye's black. And it's like, oh, you're treating us like slaves. And it's like, I like that. Listen, I like it. She's not calling them racist. She's just using the, using the metaphor to have people think about it. And in their mind, looking at this, it turns her and Kanye into more of a victim of these people, which then pushes their opinion in the direction of having Candace and Kanye's back on it. It's just smart strategy. Most people would probably just kind of go, all right, it goes through one ear, it affects you, but are not really super aware of what she's doing. But this is kind of what I do, The game of influence is something that I consider myself at least, halfway decent in, and she's excellent at it. She also gaslights the shit out of them, which is actually, that's the funniest thing that she does. We've talked about this a million times. Hold on, my mom's calling, you guys. Hello?
I'm your long lost relative.
Yeah, I know. And I'm recording a video, and you might have just made it into the video because I haven't decided whether I'm going to edit this out yet. So,
all right.
Watch what you say.
Call me when you're done.
Maybe I will. I'm just kidding. I'll be in the car on the way to jiu-jitsu in 30 minutes. If you call me then, for sure I'll pick up.
Well, how about you call me?
I will forget. I'm literally in the middle of recording a video. I am not reliable. You are. I will pick up though. I love you. Goodbye.
Love you. Bye.
All right. So let's continue. I think I will probably be able to find where my phone was to edit that out if I remember, and if I don't, there you go. That's a little window into Jesse on Fire's life. Hey, he wasn't being very nice to his mom. Yes, I was. I was half teasing her, which she likes. It probably developed my personality to be what it is because I kind of tease Gabrielle exactly like I tease my mom my whole life. Anywho, let's continue. Anyway, I just really need this 7 second of Ye's voice, and spiritually speaking, I cannot pay these industrial Luciferians. I sometimes don't even like playing the old Kanye catalog because I know they're getting paid from it, but who can deny his beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy era? Ugh, this has been so stressful for me. Thank you for your attention to this most personal matter. She's funny, man. Anyway, and then she found out that Universal actually wants her to pay $100K. For what will ultimately be 24 minutes of Ye's voice annually. And I'm going to be honest with you. Something tells me that in the event that they found out it was her, that price would go up immensely. Unless that is what that is right there. You know, they're all, wait, so who is this licensing? You know, there's like, they probably have like a million LLCs that are like, not Candace Owens, not Candace Owens LLC. It's like, so who owns it? So I don't know. It's registered in Wyoming, and the only thing I can find on it, is that it's definitely 100% not Candace Owens based on the name, you know, because I would imagine there are lots of people who would just be like, no, sorry, not enough money in the world, or they're like $1 million, you know, and they like the people who don't like her control a lot of things. That's why they're really scary. Anyway, and then she also added this on to the end. Prince and Michael Jackson tried to explain this to the public. Michael fought the hardest against Sony. Ye picked up the baton. While I have a platform, I want to add to the chorus of people stating that creators sign contracts with zero understanding that they are actually signing themselves up to be owned by a literal mafia who are willing to murder you for your publishing rights. These owners would rather force talent into conservatorship, destroy their reputation via media, and or murder them before they let or allow them to move on from their control. Nobody can go into these sort of contracts with their eyes wide open because they are not business arrangements with sensible employers. They are business arrangements with the mafia. In most circumstances, they have judges, lawyers, journalists, and even law enforcement in their back pocket. Now, speaking of Luciferians who are in that business, let me tell you a little story from the Netflix Diddy documentary, in case you guys missed that, okay? Because there's one record executive that I am 100% certain is listen, if there is a person that I would bet money has actually, at least in their own world, made a deal with Satan, okay? Like, I don't, who knows? I don't really know how that all works, exactly how that all comes together, but if that is a real thing, Diddy absolutely is a person who made that deal. And if you've seen the show, Fall of the House of Usher, which is my favorite Netflix show ever. My favorite Netflix show ever is Fall of the House of Usher. I think that is essentially the exact deal that he made. And guess what? He's at the end of his contract. You know what I mean? Like, now he's at the end of his contract, would be my guess. And if you have not seen Fall of the House of Usher, I promise I have not ruined this show for you at all. That show is absolutely fucking amazing. If I could give it 12 out of 10, I would. But it is absolutely 10 out of 10. There is not a single weak moment of this series. It's incredible. I've watched it like 4 or 5 times all the way through. I actually was actively watching it as my wife and me, I was with my whole family, and we were about to fly to Las Vegas, I'm pretty sure. And I looked behind me, and Carla Gugino was in line right behind me, and I was watching her on the show. If you don't know who that is, I promise you do, okay? If you're into Italian girls like I am, if you've seen my wife, this is Carla Gugino, okay? Like, I was crushing on her for the last, 100 million years, right? So she's literally right behind. She was walking this way as we're in the security line, and she was going this way when we were going that way. And she was wearing a red jacket. So what that told me is I am open for business. If you want to approach me and tell me that you love my show or that you've seen me naked and fantasized about me a million fucking times, then that's fine. Come tell me. I'm just kidding. Wait, what am I kidding about? I'm kidding about her thinking that would be okay to say to her, I think. But also, I'm not really fantasized about her a million times, but she's hot as fuck. She's also an incredible actress and is in all of those shows. Fall of the House of Usher, the Haunting of Hill House, and I think she's in another one of those Mike Flanagan ones. But my goodness, dude, green eyes and Italian. I mean, come on, son. But anyway, she was super nice, dude. She was super nice. It was, and it always is like a bonus when Gabrielle's with me for something like that, because then it's like I'm always super self-conscious about talking to like pretty women in general, because I look like the kind of guy that would be like a schemer, like a pussy schemer that would be like, hi, I'm just being nice. And in reality, I'm like, yeah, trying to get up in that when I'm not, And so when Gabrielle's with me, I can make it, I can just make it very clear. It's like, no, I'm really just being nice. I do think you're pretty, obviously, but I'm just fucking around with you. This is my wife. Very pretty, huh? You like a look at her? Huh? She's just as nice as she is pretty. She's also hilarious, and she laughs at all my jokes. So don't worry, Carla Gugino. Even if you wanted a piece of this, you can't have it, unfortunately for you. But anyway, like she was just really nice. I'm like, dude, hey, I was literally like, because she ended up in the line right behind me. I'm like, I'm literally watching you on my computer or on my phone as we speak. I'm like, this is like my fourth time watching this show. All right, let's go ahead and continue though, because this basically how I've approached filming this episode is I'm just gonna do like normally I cut all this stuff out, but I'm just doing what I would do, and then I'll go tighten it up later. But I'll probably put the full-sized episode in members only. And don't forget, the Discord is going to drop this week, okay? Discord about to drop this week. Oops, that's the wrong one. All right, now let's listen to Andrew Tate talk about MrBeast real quick, okay? Check this out.
MrBeast's tranny friend, he's been caught talking to kids, trying to f*** children. Surprise, surprise. Didn't see that one coming. Fucking hell. You know what's most amazing to me about this whole scenario? That nobody seems to point out this guy's name. MrBeast. Do you think that's a bit of a strange name? I'm sure I could Google it and there'd be some bullshit reason why he's called MrBeast. I'm sure they're calling for some stupid story that when he was a kid, he had a figurine called Beast, and then when he grew up, he wanted to be a figurine.
And guess what? The thing that we're going to watch on Dauntless Dialogue connects to this directly, and I actually didn't even realize it until right this second, okay? So keep that in mind. His name MrBeast, okay?
Some fucking garbage. Why would the largest YouTube channel with an affinity towards children in the world be named after the beast from the devil? Why would that happen? Is that a coincidence? Considering the fact that you don't get to become the largest YouTube channel in the world without permission from...
What watch is that? I'm just curious. I can't help myself. I think that, is that AP? That looks like a fancy, pretty sure that that's an AP, but I can't tell exactly which one it is. I'm thinking about getting one of those. Maybe. Let's, I'm not. Maybe I am. I don't know. I need to sell a couple if I'm going to get that one. Why am I talking about this?
Matrix. Because they throttle the accounts they don't like. And they take subscribers off, and they prevent the accounts that tell the truth from getting views. If you're getting that many views and that many subscribers, it's because they're pushing you to the front with the algorithm. They want the kids to see you.
I don't know why I'm getting I got 15,000 subscribers in the last week, man. I feel like I'm telling the truth. But anyway.
By coincidence, this account they want the kids to see is named after the beast. And these are the same people who openly admit they're coming for your children. They chant it in the streets at LGBT parades. We're coming for your kids because the LGBT agenda has no future without your children. They can't have kids. They can't reproduce. They need your kids. They need to come and take yours. And they're open about it. And they put their flags everywhere. They have their month. And they put all their bullshit propaganda in schools to try and convince kids to do all this insanity and confuse children. And at the same time, the largest YouTube channel aimed at children in the world, now, coincidentally, one of them becomes a tranny who tries to f*** kids, and that's being normalized, and it's all called the Beast, and it's an accident?
Now, if you never once thought about the fact that that Chris, that he ended up being that, where it was like, oh, Chris is now just becoming Christina or whatever his name is, whatever he's calling himself. And then, oh my God, he's talking to kids, whatever. If I instantaneously, when that happened, I was like, that's MK Ultra or something. Like there's no way. There's no way that that's just coincidence. I don't believe it. Like, and cause he's like the manly one. He was like, he's like the manly one. The thing is like, if you have a kind of fabricated world that you are pushing on people, like is being implied here, like, the manly one is not like that in real life, I don't think. You know what I mean? It's like, well, he's the manly one. And now he's wearing his hair in a ponytail. It's the worst kept secret ever that I am actually who I meant to, or who I was supposed to be from the beginning now. Do you guys remember that first video when he was full throttle on the other side and he was wearing that crop top with his stomach out? Like, I literally watched that, and I don't ever root for negative things for people, but that one I was watching and I was like, I hope that this is literally the ratio that breaks the entire internet down. I know broke the internet is kind of like a phrase that's used now, but I wanted it to actually break so many unlikes that the entire internet broke. And that in fact is what happened. And that's why dead internet theory is real. That's what broke the internet. That dude's stomach in a crop top. So just something to think about.